What if I could give you the recipe for success? The recipe for a better version of yourself. You become better every day because you do these things. Now, they don't have to be exactly the same things I'm going to share with you, but the recipe is one where you can put your own ingredients in. There's no perfect recipe, but this one's pretty good. And it's all about the morning routine. Now, I've talked to you about the morning routine before, and if you've listened, stay tuned because there's more. Today, I'm gonna talk to you about specifics, okay? And really the result, not only what I do, but how I do it, and what the impact is to the rest of my day. The other thing that I think is really important is, let me share with you before I tell you that, what it's like when I don't do it. When I don't do my morning routine, I feel chaotic. I feel out of sorts. I feel undisciplined, unproductive, frustrated, quicker to anger, things that I hate about myself sometimes, things that I don't like. When frustration boils up and you're like, oh, I wish I just had done the things I know make me better. I constantly remind myself why the habits are so important. And here's what it is. So every day when I wake up, there's a couple of things I do. There's a short list and a long list. And what I mean by that is there's a couple things that are just very quick. Number one is I use a meditation app. You could choose whichever one you want to use. There's Space, there's Simple Habit, Wim Hof. I mean, anything you want to use, but I do 1 to 5 minutes every morning. Some mornings, folks, I have more time. Some mornings I have less. So I have to have the leeway to give myself the liberty to not do something. So I do it every day with 1 to 5 minutes. Number 2 is I listen to and or read scripture. I choose what that's gonna be. I have a Bible next to my bed. I have an app on my phone. I use one of the two and I listen for 2 to 5 minutes or read for 5 minutes. Then I get up. Once I get up, I usually have a cup of coffee. I try to drink a glass of water first. Sometimes I just want my coffee. Then I take a break. I visit with my family a little bit. I talk to people in the morning. I have a little bit of connectivity with my sons before school, before work. Then I separate. And when I separate to build my habit. It has really changed the way that I function. It's made me more effective, more efficient, more present, a better dad, a better husband. And here's what it is, it's simple. I actually provide myself with some me time. Now, what does that mean? My me time starts with a workout. I go in my garage to my tonal and I work out. I set up a workout between 20 and 45 minutes, depending upon how much time I have. I usually set up a program where I'm doing it every day and I know exactly what I'm gonna do, when I'm gonna do it, and how long it's gonna take. While I do that, I go over to my Sunlight and Sauna, and I'm not being sponsored to tell you any of these companies. This is just what I do and how I use it. But I go over to my Sunlight and Sauna and I warm it up. I turn it on and I get it ready. I also go over to my cold plunge and I take the lid off my cold plunge and I get it ready. So now, because I'm in the garage, because I've made it convenient, I stretch right after my workout. I love using the tonal because it's all right there and I've had a personal trainer for years, but this really allows me to not have to think about what I'm gonna do every day. It's when I have to think and I'm undisciplined that I can get lost in all the things I could do. And when I think of all the things I can do, I'm not as present and good at getting it done efficiently. So by having it just pressing a button and doing what it says, I found to be very successful, and the results for me have been very valuable. The second thing that I find very valuable in that stretching is I'm just getting myself calmed down. I'm opening up my body, I'm relaxing, I'm stretching, I'm focusing on something that's a weakness for me. It's something that I can't do that long because I really hate how inflexible I am. So I actually focus on doing this for about 5 minutes, then I move into the sauna. Now, the sauna is a really interesting experience for me. And the sauna for me is something where I find a true peaceful moment. Nothing bothers me. My phone is not on in a way where I'm talking on it. My phone is not on where I'm texting on it. My phone is only on when I'm using an app. I'm using an app usually to listen to some kind of peaceful music, or I'm adding another meditation, and sometimes I'm actually listening to scripture again. So I kind of go back and forth on what I'm going to do in that peaceful moment. It is literally just a moment of separation. It is a moment where I have to think, pray, be at one with myself, and I love it. Yeah, the heat's great. The infrared sauna is great for the body, it's great for the mind, but it's really great for my setup for my day. Then as I exit, I immediately set the timer on my phone for whatever the amount of time I'm gonna do, usually between 3 and 5 minutes, and I get in the cold plunge. And I ease my way in, I dunk my head, and I sit. Now, I just got the cold plunge in the last month, and I use it every single day. I have been cold plunging for a while, but I used to get ice in the tub. I used to go to a neighbor's pool or use my pool when it was in the winter. And it was a lot more difficult to get it in. Today, I find it to be exhilarating. There is nothing more present than being in that cold plunge, and I know what it does for my skin, for my brain, for my present state. I can't tell you how much I love just sitting in that space and not having anywhere else to be. And I do that all before a certain amount of time in the morning. And I do it all at the same time every single morning. Now, if I'm out of town, I don't get it in. So I really, really value it when I am at home. So here's the key. Why did I share all this with you? The result is that I'm more at peace, that I can respond better. I'm not reacting, that frustrations are limited, that the day is already feeling like it's been accomplished. When you have worked out, had me time in the sauna, and literally been able to cold plunge, you feel really good about the start of your day. You feel productive, you feel disciplined, you feel challenged. Getting in a cold plunge at 40 degrees is uncomfortable. When I feel too comfortable or I feel maybe a little too lazy in my brain, that's when I get in the cold plunge and I actually stay in longer, or I turn it down as low as it'll go. The reality is, these things allow me to be a better parent, a better father in general. I'm more relaxed, and I need that in my life. See, what I found is I did a podcast the other day, and after the podcast was over, me and the guest were talking through his morning routine and my morning routine, and we both had the same conclusion. He said, I just feel like I can't be the best version of myself when I don't get this in. And so I really, really prioritize it. And yeah, people laugh at you. Like even in your own family, like, oh, dad's gotta have his me time. Dad's gotta have his special time. Yes, dad's a better dad when he does this. And the more your children are seeing you do this type of stuff, they're also allowing themselves to understand what building healthy habits really do, what self-care is all about. And maybe it is a little selfish, but if it's selfish because the output's gonna be a better version of yourself, here's what I've noticed. I'm more focused. I'm immediately awake and present in everything I'm doing. I can handle stress way better when I know that I can handle stress in that cold plunge, or I've had the time to think and plan my day in the sauna. Just the alone time allows me to have thinking time. You know, these are things that we take for granted. And most of you, just like me, for many, many years, were never doing this stuff. Now, you don't have to do the sauna. You don't have to do the cold plunge. I do highly recommend at least a walk and movement in the morning and a workout. But the truth is, you have to find what works for you. And when you do that, what you find is you can love a little better. You could be a little better version of yourself at work. You can feel like you've been productive before your day's even started. That is unbelievably powerful. It is a recipe that you can fill in the ingredients for yourself. But for me, the output that I see, the continuous value that I build on, yeah, I couldn't afford to have these things years ago. I couldn't. There was no way. I went to the gym, I had a personal trainer. I remember there was a time I couldn't afford the personal trainer. But when I had the trainer, I started to spend my money on something I found valuable. And guess what? I had to be there every day. Well, once I spent my money on these things, I have to use them every day. I feel very accountable to the usage of the things that I've put in my garage. And I'm gonna tell you, the ease of having it right there every day literally makes it so easy. Have the ability to hop on my Peloton as well if I need that. And that gets the heart rate going on days where I can't go for a walk, or I'm not gonna get a run in, or whatever it is that I'm doing. And I run very, very little. So when I say run, it might be playing soccer in the backyard with the kids. I'm just explaining to you that when we wanna be a better version of ourselves, sometimes we focus on just the better version we wanna be and not on the ingredients and the recipe that will help us get there. But step number one is getting yourself a schedule, a routine, a mindful morning routine that allows you to have a healthy mind, a healthy body, and a healthy spirit. And ultimately, I can't tell you the success that I know that will provide for you. Try it out, see what you think.